Life Immune with added zinc. Distributed by H&J Enterprises Limited.
Good evening and welcome. You're watching the 7 o'clock news on CNC3. I'm Ria Rambali.
I'm Akash Samaru.
I'm Jovan Ravello with Sport.
And I'm Jean-Marc Rampersad with your weather.
Let's tell you what's making the news tonight. PNM executive faces internal and external criticism over Rowley invite controversy.
Government says it is paying to rehabilitate UWI Debe campus, and no decision has been made on which faculties will be hosted there.
Millions in damage caused by fire at a popular Central Superstore. Nearby homes affected.
In sport, Club Sando hands Army a second defeat in a row to blow the TNT Premier League race wide open with 2 rounds to go.
Improved weather and seas expected for the long weekend. I'll have the details in tonight's weather report.
The executive of the People's National Movement is facing criticism over its handling of former leader Dr. Keith Rowley's claim that he was not invited to the party's 70th anniversary celebrations.
But while PNM General Secretary Foster Cummings has indicated that the party will move to improve its internal processes, a party stalwart is openly criticizing the leadership, accusing it of disrespect and a lack of humility.
First, it was Renuka Sagram Singh Suklal criticizing her party's actions. And now a sitting PNM MP is also calling out her party, asking where's the respect for former leader Dr. Keith Rowley? Airing her views publicly on social media today, Camille Robinson-Regis said she's inclined to believe Dr. Rowley when he said he received no invitation to the PNM's 70th anniversary celebrations in January because she believes he is not careless with the truth. And while the PNM maintains that an official invite was sent to Dr. Rowley's residence and that they missed him on the day of the function,
Keith Christopher Rowley, wherever you are today, we love you in the PNM.
Robinson-Regis maintains that this goes beyond a mere invitation and questioned where's the respect from the PNM for people who helped build the party. Well, today we reached back out to PNM General Secretary Foster Cummings, who said they looked into the matter. The invite was in fact sent out, but he cannot confirm if Dr. Rowley received it.
Don't know what may have happened in terms of receipt of it. I can't speak to that, but what we will do on our end is to make sure and continue to improve our operations to make sure that things like this do not reoccur.
The General Secretary said they have the utmost respect for Dr. Rowley and there was no intention to be disrespectful. But former General Secretary Ashton Ford believes the party was being disrespectful, and he said the new executive must learn humility.
They must change their approach in the way they treat with party members, especially those of us who have served. And they cannot be ignoring and figure, well, they're in charge now and they can do what they want. That is bad.
Ford said the party should have called the former Prime Minister to ensure he received the invite. The former PNM Gensec warned the PNM that Dr. Rowley is not a man to take disrespect quietly.
They have no respect. No respect. And you know Dr. Rowley is a man combative. He will not stay silent.
Meanwhile, long-standing PNM member and former Vice Chairman Robert Lehan said he believes while there may have been no malice on either side, things should have been sorted out privately.
I think a short communication directly to Dr. Rowley, explaining what was done, apologizing for him not receiving it, and just probably trying to ascertain what time it was delivered, who delivered it, etc. Would have been probably better than public discourse.
And political analyst Dr. Winford James believes the party has bigger issues to focus on, but questioned if this shows an underlying resentment for Dr. Rowley from within the party.
He remains in the highlight, and he appears to be moving against Penny Beckles. He's challenging secretly or quietly Penny Beckles.
Attempts to get a comment from the opposition leader were unsuccessful.
Well, with government trying to get the UWI Debe campus up and running before the start of the new academic year, it's still unclear which faculties will be housed there.
Since the construction of the campus during the first Kamla Prasad-Visesa-led administration, there have been reports the campus will house the Faculty of Law as its flagship program, alongside faculties in medicine, agriculture, and science and technology. Last May, the Prime Minister had warned the tertiary level institution not to test her and to ensure that it be used to house the Faculty of Law.
However, at today's post-cabinet news conference, Land and Legal Affairs Minister Saddam Hussein said the final decision on faculties will be made once the repairs are completed.
Those matters will be announced in due course. We are getting the facility up to a state of readiness. You would have understood, based on the setup of certain buildings and the apparatus that has to be put in place, those matters are still within the remit of the repairs and rehabilitation. The building has fallen into a state of disrepair.
Minister Hussein took aim at UWI Principal Professor Rosemary Bell-Antoine, who told CNC3 News that long-standing plumbing issues at the campus would be resolved through university initiatives.
Initial estimates had placed that cost at approximately $4 million. However, Minister Hussein clarified the only agency tasked with managing repairs is the Palo Seco Agricultural Enterprises Limited and not the university.
I can tell you those plumbing works are part of the scope of works that PSCL will have to conduct to bring the campus back to a state of readiness. So we were very surprised by that announcement by the UWI yesterday that they will be conducting works.
Restorative works are expected to be completed before the academic year begins in September.
Millions of dollars in damage after a popular superstore in Longdonville, Mitsuda, caught a fire.
An explosion was heard miles away just after midday today. Then a fire erupted, causing damage to several nearby homes. Workers tell CNC3 News there were no injuries or casualties as both employees and customers were able to exit the building safely. Fire appliances from Chaguanas and Couva responded and worked to contain the flames, which reportedly affected stock and sections of the building's upper floor. The business owners declined to speak with CNC3 News. However, Chief Fire Officer Andy Hutchinson and Assistant Chief Fire Officer in charge of Central, Noel Stewart, were at the scene. They are working on identifying the cause of the blaze.
Meanwhile, a fire at a house on Concession Drive, Sealots, unveiled a fatal tragedy inside. Officials found the burnt remains of its owner, a pensioner.
Police reported that 77-year-old Raymond Thomas was last seen alive by his son around 9:40 a.m. Police and fire services were notified of the blaze, and when they arrived around 11 a.m., they found the remains in a bedroom.
The cause of the fire is yet to be determined, while an autopsy is also scheduled.
Well, still to come in the news, mourners at Guerra's funeral told to ignore the noise surrounding his murder.
Women's rights advocate says the country needs a special court to deal with domestic violence cases.
Coming up in sport, we hear from two-time reigning TNT Golf Open champion Chris Richards about his 4th title win. In the ever-changing media landscape, we at Guardian Media strive always to put you, our viewers and readers, first.
We strive to uphold the time-honored tenets of responsible journalism.
For us, accuracy is key.
And in our reporting, we strive not only to be first, but fair,
impartial,
and to uphold journalistic integrity.
Above all, we are accountable to you, and we must respect the views of our audience. That is our solemn contract with you.
Keen attention to detail.
Rigorous verification of facts.
Use of credible sources and sound editorial judgment.
Keep track of our editorial policies and guidelines, including our corrections policy, by logging on to www.guardian.co.tt for more. Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander is defending the detention of 16-year-old Jalen George, the first minor held under the current state of emergency. Speaking to CNC3 News, Alexander questioned parental accountability, asking if parents know where their children are and what they are doing. He added that the community knows more than parents think and called for accountability and positive outcomes. George's parents say their son, a Form 3 student, is innocent, missing end-of-term exams and suffering mentally. Authorities claim he was identified by intelligence as a gang shooter with access to firearms and plans for retaliatory attacks, making his detention necessary.
Minister Alexander, who is also their Member of Parliament, signed the order earlier this month. Well, following the detention of the 16-year-old boy, today we asked, do you think it's right for the authorities to detain him without charge under a PDO during the state of emergency?
Here's what some of you had to say.
See that the individual was underage, the individual was not yet 18. I personally don't think that person should have been detained by the authorities. That's my personal view.
Honestly, no, because he's a minor, you know. They don't really know much about the law. Some persons might know, but no, I wouldn't say it should be detained for that.
First of all, the question is, why is a 16-year-old, being affiliated with a gang, right? So that is the number one question. And I guess if we do the crime, we have to face the consequences, right? So 16-year-old does know the difference between right and wrong.
Well, if we do the crime, he pay the time. You understand?
I feel like if they're doing wrong, they should be held liable for the wrong that they're doing, because there are consequences for your actions regardless. But whatever penalty they face should be tried and true, and it should be age appropriate.
If they know he's involved in something, that's the reason why they will lock him up, because they have a reason why they're locking him up. It's very sad to know a 16-year-old has to be locked up under the SOE.
Police have confirmed that kidnapped victim Suraj Ramlakan has been safely released. The 57-year-old was reportedly abducted on Saturday, March 14th, with a ransom demanded for his return.
Authorities say his recovery was the result of a coordinated and targeted police operation. Acting on intelligence, officers went to Rup Singh Road in Karapichaima, where the victim was believed to have been spotted.
Police then launched a series of systematic searches utilizing infrared drone technology. Those efforts paid off, with Ramlakan found and safely released between 10:30 and 11:30 last night. Hours before their father, Danny Guerra, was laid to rest, his 4 children received death threats, forcing them to stay away from his funeral.
Guerra was previously detained along with his son, but the two were later released under the last state of emergency, accused of plotting against Government Minister Wayne Sturge.
Today, mourners were urged to ignore the noise and reminded that if ever there was a time for the family to unite, it's now.
None of murdered businessman Danny Guerra's children attended his funeral on Thursday because of death threats made against them. Senior police sources confirm that the family was threatened. Guerra's aunt, Lucy Guerra Ramrup, called on the congregation to pray for the family in this trying time.
Gavin Guerra, who we trust God will give him the strength to move forward. And I ask that you cover him in prayer. You know, sometimes in these incidents, people will come just to spectate or to small talk. But this is a time in this young man's life that he needs God's grace and guidance.
Delivering the eulogy on behalf of his daughter, Guerra's aunt, Lucy Guerra Ramrup, told those assembled that he proudly carried the name of his grandfather. In a light-hearted moment, she joked that the father of 4 would have other children coming out of the woodwork.
Those are the 4 that we are aware of. Although, you know, humorously, people are saying that you would find others may come out of the woods. Right, Linda? But, you know, we would embrace them because the family is very small.
Dubbed the Gravel King, Guerra was shot and killed on March 13th outside his business. Police have not yet confirmed a motive for the murder. The owner of DG Homes had previously attracted national attention after he and 3 others were accused of plotting to murder Defense Minister Wayne Sturge. Guerra was detained during the last state of emergency, but was released before it ended. He was never charged, nor were his alleged co-conspirators. Also paying tribute was employee and protege Marlon Duncan, who remembered Guerra as a disciplined, hard-working man who rose from selling pork to selling homes, a visionary who came from humble beginnings. He said despite a surname that meant war, Guerra believed firmly in peace. And while Sturge did not attend, opposition Senator Sanjeev Boodoo was present. Jensen Lavend, CNC3 News, Sangre Grande.
Well, the recent murders of Stacey Samaru and Rashmi Deojit have a women's rights group concerned that gender-based violence may be on the rise in the country. Asiya
Mohammed, CEO and founder of Women Conflict, urges victims and their families to speak out before it's too late. She adds that men must show zero tolerance and hold their male counterparts accountable. Mohammed adds that there are laws and policies to address this. Implementation and challenges within the criminal justice system remain a real issue.
I would like to call on the justice sector for a special court to address gender-based violence. Unfortunately, cases take years to be heard. Even when survivors come to the police and they reach out, sometimes they do not receive the attention and assistance and support that they require. This is critical to ensure reduced numbers of victims and survivors, as well as a reduction in homicides.
36-year-old Samaru's body was found floating off waters in Tobago on March 3rd, and an autopsy later confirmed she died from drowning, but she was also strangled.
And on Tuesday, 28-year-old cricketer Rashmi Deojit was found stabbed to death at her Granville Cedars home, and Minister of Sport and Youth Affairs Philip Watts has also commented on Deojit's death, saying that he joins the national sporting fraternity in offering prayers, strength and comfort to her family and everyone affected by her loss.
Up to news time, police had not yet detained anyone in connection with either murder. Justice Minister Devish Maharaj says a suite of legislation, including a proposal for a parole system, is coming to improve the judicial system.
The minister says the legislation will also assist in making processes quicker and more accessible, adding that there will also be legislation that will make provisions for victims of crime.
There's a parole bill, which we bring into Parliament shortly to bring introduce parole to the criminal justice system. We are introducing amendments to the Probation Act, and quite importantly, we'll be introducing the Victims' Rights Bill to provide rights and so on for victims of crimes.
Minister Maharaj adds that the long-standing issues surrounding delayed trials are also being looked at.
We are working very closely with the judiciary itself to ensure that we have functional courtrooms. We are working very closely with Forensic Science Center to clear backlogs to ensure that criminal trials proceed quickly. We have had a huge backlog in our autopsy reports, which we have added. We have added 6 persons to the DNA lab to clear that backlog as well. In terms of there, we are bringing certain amendments to the Constitution for the right of reasonable trial, a quick trial.
The Justice Minister was speaking at the launch of the TNT IVF Fertility Clinic in Arang West last evening.
Back in 2010, then Justice Minister Herbert Volney signaled his intention to introduce a parole system, giving a timeline of 3 years. The current Justice Minister did not give a time period for the draft legislation to be brought to Parliament. The counter-trafficking unit is reminding that not all sex work involving migrants in TNT is human trafficking. The unit says each case must meet strict legal criteria before it can be classified as trafficking in persons. Last weekend, 54 people were detained during a joint operation by the CTU and the Crime Suppression Unit in Cunupia. Many of those detained were foreign nationals held in connection with suspected prostitution activity. However, after screening interviews were conducted, officials say none of those who were held met the legal definition of a trafficking victim. Speaking on CNC3's Morning Brew program, CTU Deputy Director Dane Marie Marshall said the assessment is based on an internationally recognized rapid screening process used to determine whether trafficking indicators are present.
For instance, in a screening, a person indicated to me that I came to Trinidad and Tobago to perform in prostitution. I paid my way, I pay a rent here at another location, and I come to this location to prostitute. That in itself does not constitute the offense of trafficking in persons.
Marshall said investigators must establish specific legal elements, including coercion, force, or fraud, for a case to meet the threshold for trafficking in persons.
The CTU says it continues to rely on intelligence-led operations to identify suspected trafficking activity. Members of the public are being urged to report any suspected cases to the unit's hotline at 800-4CTU or 702-0467. Well, with the Children's Authority Board members adamant that they will not resign, the Social Development Minister is calling for the President to revoke their appointments.
Minister Vandana Mohit has been calling for the board's resignation. However, this time she based her call on what she says was a stabbing of a minor at the National Care and Empowerment Center in Piparo. Mohit said the incident exposed failures in security and communication. She questioned why basic screening tools weren't used to keep weapons out and pointed to $77 million in unpaid obligations under the current board as evidence of poor governance. Mohit is calling on the President to revoke the board's appointments, saying their continued tenure undermines public trust and puts vulnerable children at risk. Government is moving to clarify the role of Landmark TT Properties Limited following criticism from former Housing Minister Camille Robinson-Regis. She's accusing the government of using the entity to allow associates to access state lands at peppercorn rates.
But today, Minister of Land and Legal Affairs Saddam Hussein describes Landmark TT as a special purpose company approved by Cabinet to drive public-private partnerships for housing development.
He says private developers will finance construction on idle state lands, with the state receiving a share of the land value when homes are sold. The developers will recover their construction costs.
Now, the homes will not be sold at subsidized rates. They will target middle-income buyers, and tenders have already been issued.
The developers will come and develop the lands, and after the development, when, for example, Kijan wants to purchase a house, when Kijan purchases the house, state takes its share of the lands, and the developer will take his share of the construction. So there's no issue of a conveyance to the developer per se. It's the conveyance going to the purchaser.
And so how do we decide which developer gets which lands? What's the process?
So the process is always guided by the OPR.
Minister Hussein says no land has been given away at this time, although there is land earmarked in Turuba and Indian Trail.
250 housing units are expected to be delivered to the people of Tobago by August 2027.
Housing Secretary Ricky Jofield today announced that the units will cost the THA $280 million and fall under the Rise Land and Adventure Developments.
Jofield said the contractors, California Stucco and CSSL Limited, have promised 50 units each by Christmas.
The Rise and Housing Development will deliver 130 units, comprising of 100 townhouses and 30 duplexes on approximately 3.4 hectares of land, as I said, situated in the area of Kambi. Adventure Phase 3 development will deliver 120 housing units, inclusive of apartments, duplexes, and single-family homes.
The units will range from $850,000 to $1.3 million TT dollars.
Still to come in the news, a healthy turnout today for the NUGFW Southern Division's election.
We had some cloudy periods this morning, but those generally dissipated by the afternoon, giving us mostly sunny conditions despite the odd shower over western areas of Trinidad. I'll have the weekend outlook and some extreme weather elsewhere in the world coming up just after the break.
From all over Trinidad and Tobago, Anil wrapping roti at lightning-fast speed.
Sandra nailing every order in her hardware.
Lisa, who is in sync with style. There is no buffering at her boutique.
And Dr. Alex filling prescriptions with care. They're all part of the 5,000-strong businesses connected and growing with reliable, high-speed service from Amplia.
Now it's your turn.
Because with Amplia,
you're in good company. Amplia Business.
Ramadan Kareem from Passad's The Food King. This season, we welcome you to 30 nights of blessed value. Enjoy incredible savings on your Ramadan essentials. Central Farm Halal Duck Cut Up, £4, $99. Halal Bone Goat, £4, $110. Chana Large Grain, 2,000 grams, $39.99. Chief Curry Powder, 230 grams, $26. Cook's Made Quick Oats, 226 grams, 4 packs for $20. Nescafe Colombian Bold Blend Coffee, 170 grams, $34.99. Regal Seedless Dates, 200 grams, $14.99. Sierra Halal Chicken Franks, 340 grams, 3 packs for $20. Shake Split Peas Powder, 400 grams, 2 packs, $15. Fresh Harvest Sweetened Condensed Milk, 390 grams, 3 tins, $25. Shake Vermicelli Sawine, 200 grams, 4 packs, $19.99. Value for every home this Ramadan at Passad's The Food King. Sale ends March 19, 2026 or while stocks last.
My man Andre.
Good night, Anthony.
7 years with the company, and we couldn't do it without Antoine.
Happy birthday, dear Alejandro. Happy birthday to you.
Who's Angelo?
We're like coworkers who don't forget your name.
I'm Angelo.
CG United. Good like that.
The sun is dying.
I'm not an astronaut.
I get sick on an elevator.
There's no elevator on the ship.
So I met an alien.
His son is dying too.
It is time go. Project Hail Mary.
Is mealtime more of a chore than a cherished time? Does a lack of appetite keep your family, young and old, from getting the nourishment they need? Introducing Apetamin, the gentle, effective appetite stimulant designed for every age. Apetamin helps spark the natural desire to eat, turning hesitant nibbles into satisfying meals. Watch as food becomes exciting again, fueling growth, energy, and shared moments around the table. Give your body the gift of a joyful appetite. Find Apetamin in pharmacies nationwide.
Welcome back. Dozens of daily paid workers at the San Fernando City Corporation say they've been waiting for months for back pay and salary increases promised under a collective agreement signed last year.
The Contractors and General Workers Union says despite the deal being finalized in April 2025, workers are still without the revised rates and arrears they were told that would follow within months. The union staged a protest outside San Fernando City Hall urging authorities to provide a clear timeline for payment and to address what it describes as prolonged administrative delays. Union President General Ermine Debe said they had several discussions with Chief Personnel Officer Dr. Daryl Dindial in recent days, but no firm date has been given for when the money will be released. She said when the government came into office, a minister informed the union that it had no commitment to pay the daily paid workers and they should have waited for the change in administration.
These same ministers that are in government today, their new salaries was spoken about and was agreed when the past government was in place. And if it is, my members are being told they have not been paid yet because of the time that we would have signed. We are saying they should not have accepted the hefty salaries that they are enjoying now.
The union says it will return to the streets if there is no response by the deadline it has set for April 2nd.
It also plans to escalate the matter to the Finance Ministry if payment is not forthcoming, while continuing efforts to secure direct clarification from the CPO and government officials. Well, hundreds of members of the National Union of Government and Federated Workers Southern Division turned out at the Creative Arts Center today for the union's tri-annual election. Incumbent President Jason Gordon, seeking re-election, described the poll as part of the union's normal democratic process, with strong turnout expected from its more than 2,000 members. Gordon defended his record but admitted that workers continue to face challenges not only in municipal and regional corporations, but also in other state-run agencies.
Uniform have not been provided to workers for a number of years in local government. Even central government, Ministry of Agriculture, workers working without PPE for years. Workers in forestry not be given a proper pay slip. Workers not given the meal allowance, the fire allowance, and we're in fire season, fire watch right now. And these workers are performing yeoman service, and therefore they are not given their fire allowance.
Challenger Kadeem Edwards, who campaigned on a platform of change, says some workers feel left out and underrepresented.
I am within the Superior Borough Corporation, so I know the cries and the struggles of the people. So my concerns are, we need transparency, we need true representation, integrity, we need leadership that we can trust. Yeah, so I stand here for the people.
The union's Southern Division leadership will continue for the next 3 years.
In tonight's Business Watch, Trinidad and Tobago's exports to Japan could increase as a result of recent events in the Middle East.
Meanwhile, a major automotive dealer is warning the public to be wary of who they buy electric vehicles from. Peter Christopher has more.
Japanese Ambassador Akima Omizawa says while Trinidad and Tobago and Japan have enjoyed a good trade relationship for some time, recent geopolitical tensions have opened more opportunities for local exports for their market.
Actually, Japan import the ammonia from the Trinidad and Tobago. So now your usual or general products of the LNG and the ammonia has a competitive power enough to succeed in Japanese market.
Omizawa adds that apart from energy exports, he notes that Trinidad and Tobago's culture is also a major hit in the Asian country and is another avenue for exports that can be explored. While recent statistics have indicated electric vehicle sales in Trinidad and Tobago are on the up, brand manager and team leader for BYD Trinidad and Tobago, Kerry-Ann Siratan, warns that buying these vehicles from unauthorized dealers may lead to improper maintenance. Siratan made the plea at the recent launch of the BYD Dolphin Mini at Brian Lara's residence. Business Watch was told by several car dealers that they have noted a number of car importers who have emerged with reduced overheads as a result of limited manpower operations. The dealers state that this often leaves both consumers and authorized dealers being left with repairing vehicles, some which are not even suited for the local climate. However, Siratan and the Lafas Motors team are otherwise thrilled that more of the public have started gravitating to EVs and hybrids in recent years. Developers of the recently opened Bagshot Box Park say the food mall was opened with the current economic climate in mind. Edward Aboud of George Aboud & Son says the park, which was created using 35 repurposed end-of-life shipping containers, will cater for smaller businesses.
The cost for small to medium-sized businesses is very affordable. Because these spaces are small, they don't have large build-out and kitchen costs. So I think it serves the economic environment that we're in now.
The park was opened on the site of one of Trinidad's longest-standing colonial homes, the Bagshot House, which was demolished in 1999. The food park was named after the historic building in tribute. And now for a look at today's energy and foreign exchange prices. Peter Christopher, CNC3 Business Watch.
Well, let's welcome Jamak to the set. Jamak, you know, it's around this time where people of the Islamic faith dutifully and reverently look up for the sighting of the moon to mark the end of Ramadan and the beginning of Eid. What can you tell us?
That's correct. This evening was always going to be difficult given the short window they had for the moon sightings. Moon sunset would have been around 6:15, and then moon set, meaning when it goes below the horizon, would have been just 40 minutes after. We also had some cloudy conditions as well, so based on information from Asha and Darul Uloom, the moon was not sighted, and they also cited other Caribbean countries saying that they didn't see the moon. So that means that the month of Ramadan will complete its 30th day tomorrow, which is Friday, and Eid ul-Fitr will be celebrated on Saturday. We'll still have the holiday tomorrow, but just Eid will be celebrated on Saturday.
Thank you very much for that.
Right, so now let's take a look at what's happening in the weather. On the satellite, not much change yesterday, so that's definitely good news for the religious celebrations this weekend. Just these small patches coming along will give us the odd shower over the next few days, but conditions will be mostly warm and sunny. So the forecast for tonight, we'll have mostly fair conditions despite 1 or 2 showers favoring Tobago and eastern areas of Trinidad. Overnight lows of 23 in Trinidad and 25 in Tobago. Tomorrow, mostly sunny conditions, just a low chance of the odd shower. Winds should be a bit lighter, so it may feel a bit warmer during the late morning and early afternoon hours. We'll have a high temperature of around 31 degrees Celsius as well. Sea conditions are now at a moderate level because earlier today the Met Office discontinued the hazardous seas alert as sea conditions have been gradually improving. Waves in open waters are now between 2 and 2.5 meters and less than 1 meter in sheltered areas. Winds out of the east at around 15 knots. Now looking ahead, mostly sunny conditions over the next 3 days with just a low chance of an odd passing shower. Over the course of this week, there has been a noticeable decrease in the winds, and that is expected to continue over the weekend as well. However, with the weaker winds, temperatures will be a bit warmer with a high of 32 degrees Celsius on Sunday, possibly higher in the cities and urban areas. Now, the light winds and dry conditions also mean that the nights will be slightly cooler. So Friday and Saturday nights, particularly in the overnight hours, may be just 1 or 2 degrees cooler than usual. So now, from Trinidad and Tobago, we head down under to Australia, where Cyclone Narelle made landfall in northern Queensland a short while ago as a Category 4 system. At its peak, Narelle was the strongest storm globally for 2026 so far, packing winds of 240 kilometers per hour at the time. Now, the center is expected to move over water tomorrow morning, then making a second landfall on Saturday in Australia's Northern Territory as a Category 3 cyclone. So even though we have relatively calm weather, there's activity going on all over the globe.
All right, thank you so much, Jean-Marc. Well, let's tell you what's still to come in the news.
Najabla Sukunya, Ogo Papaboa, they would guide us Bini Forest.
It's World Folk Tales and Fables Week, so we want to know how many folklore characters can you name and if you've ever encountered one.
GB's Chai Gold 3-in-1 chai lattes come pre-mixed for an easy instant treat. Simply add 1 sachet to hot water, stir, and enjoy. We maintain that authentic homemade taste you love with no added preservatives, as each sachet includes real tea, creamer, and sugar. Available in a wide range of flavors: elaichi, masala, ginger, French vanilla, lemongrass, saffron, and cadet. And their new delicious caramel flavor, available at supermarkets nationwide. For wholesale information, contact LG Wholesalers.
Nature's Ways Alive Kids Gummies are multivitamin gummies meant to support the development of children's bodies, like their bones, muscles, joints, brain, heart, and also their immune health. Choose Alive Kids Gummies by Nature's Way because they deserve it.
Ramadan specials at Food Basket, Arima, Shagwana, Champlain, and Gulfview. Goat, 4 pounds for $99. Chana, 5 bungs for $19.95. Delicious dates, $19.95 per pound. Big deal, 1 gallon oil, $59.95. Crown 8 kg rice, $59.95. Green butterfly evaporated milk, 3 for $17.95. 4Z vermicelli, 1600 gram, $24.95. Ramadan specials at Food Basket, Arima, Shagwana, Champlain, and Gulfview.
Struggling with blood sugar swings, high blood pressure, or stiff joints? Take control with Aja Nutrition's powerful wellness trio. Berberine Plus supports healthy blood sugar. Blood pressure support helps keep your pressure in check. And Joint Aid keeps your joints moving so you can stay active every day. Don't wait. Choose Aja Nutrition for trusted, effective solutions. Available at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Feel better, move better, live better with Aja Nutrition.
Police are warning the public to stay alert after an elderly woman was scammed out of more than $11,000 by someone pretending to be a police officer.
The 80-year-old West Moorings resident received a series of calls from a woman claiming to be with the TTPS fraud squad. The caller told her there were issues with her bank account and asked her to verify sensitive information.
Well, believing it was legitimate, the woman complied. But soon after, she discovered unauthorized online transfers totaling just over $11,000 moved from her account without her consent.
The police are reminding the public that banks and law enforcement will never ask for your personal or financial details in this way. They're urging anyone who receives a similar call to hang up immediately.
Yeah, good advice there. Well, time to pick up on sport. And Jovan, there's still a bit of back and forth surrounding TNT's hosting of a major athletics meet.
Yeah, mere months away, Ria, from the main event, government is yet to meet on World Athletics Grand Prix proposal. And Sawa Jablate and Anto Makal enter into a partnership aimed at giving the club's youth a real shot on and off the pitch. Sport is up next.
Plumbing problems? Don't guess. Call Plumbing Solutions at 628-4646. Proud to be serving Trinidad and Tobago for over 20 years. We do it all. Maintenance and repairs, new construction, sewer lines, inspection, drain cleaning, leak detection. We are licensed and insured. So call Plumbing Solutions at 628-4646.
You can make your goals unfold, go get it. You can live your dream, join the team, let's do this. You can get the help you need to succeed with Rand Credit Union. You can believe that you can achieve. Big goals, small ones too. Rand Credit Union, we've got you. No more waiting, that won't do. Make someday today. One life, so make it good. Live the way you know you should. With Rand Credit Union, yes you could. Make someday today.
Live your best life today with Rand Credit Union.
Struggling with picky eating? Or unexplained loss of appetite? Or tired of trying to gain weight with no results? Apetamin is here to help. This powerful appetite stimulant encourages healthier eating, supports weight gain, and improves BMI, perfect for both adults and children. Only Apetamin contains lysine, an essential amino acid that boosts appetite, builds muscle, supports growth, and aids calcium absorption. Take control of your appetite and reach your weight gain goals with Apetamin. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Welcome back. It's time for sport. With just 2 rounds left in the season, the race for the TTPFL title is going down to the wire as Club Sando placed a spoke in Defence Force's wheels, moving within 1 point of the champs. Elsewhere, Prisons moved into third. Caston Cupid has the highlights.
The Hazy Crawford Stadium doubleheader kicked off with Samuel Jabate striking early against Prison Service FC. Just 3 minutes in, Caden Trestrail unleashed a stunning long-range effort to give the Samuel Kings a 1-0 lead. But Prison stayed patient and dangerous. In the 66th minute, Nathaniel Garcia floated a perfect pass to Brendan Figueroa, who controlled it brilliantly and finished to level things at 1-1. The momentum shifted instantly, and just 4 minutes later, Kyron Williams completed the comeback, firing home the winner to seal a 2-1 victory. With the tone set, the evening's headline clash followed. League leaders Defence Force versus Club Sando, who were in a must-win situation to keep the title race open. Sando came out flying. Tariq Lee's pace caused early problems, and in the 4th minute, he was brought down in the box by Isaiah Garcia. Luke Phillips stepped up and converted the penalty to make it 1-0. They doubled their lead in the 29th minute. Again, it was Lee at the heart of it. His pressure forced a mistake from Sheldon Batu, and he made no mistake, punishing it. 2-0 Club Sando in control. Defence Force responded just before the break, with Keita and Saint-Hilaire pulling one back in stoppage time to make it 2-1. Batu was sent off late in the second half for this tackle, as Defence Force finished with 10 men to go along with the 2-1 defeat to Club Sando. Elsewhere, Central FC also picked up a 2-1 win over Rangers, while AC Port of Spain defeated Caledonia 2-0. Caston Cupid, CNC3 Sport.
Things certainly heating up there. Now, Sawa Jablete have received a significant lift in the 2025-2026 Trinidad and Tobago Premier League football season, securing platinum sponsorship from Answer McCall Limited. The partnership is a major win for the club's youth-first philosophy, with more than 130 young athletes set to benefit directly. Answer McCall Group CEO Anthony N. Sabga III says the investment is focused on helping young people build their futures, not just in football, but beyond it. Players will also gain access to professional training and internship opportunities within the company's network. Chairman Nirad Tiwari says the support allows Jablete to continue offering programs at no cost, removing financial barriers and keeping the focus on opportunity and development. And now there's still no clarity on the leadership of the sport company, at least for the near future. Reports coming to Guardian Media suggest that current Sport TT Chief Executive Officer Jason Williams may be on the way out. However, newly installed Sport Board Chairman Kester Lendor says there are no concrete developments just yet.
The C contract is coming to an end at the end of this month, and we have been in discussions with him. We have been in discussions with the CEO, and we're having discussions with the CEO currently. Up to today, we're having discussions with him. Some of these things, like we can't discuss. We'll just see how these discussions go.
And more questions than answers remain surrounding reports that Trinidad and Tobago could be in line to host a major World Athletics track and field meet. More than a week after CNC3 first reported it, we understand that the project is yet to be officially discussed at the governmental level.
More than 1 week after we reported that the Hazley Crawford Stadium could be the host of this year's Racers Grand Prix, there is still uncertainty about the progress of any such discussion locally. After Jamaica's Racers Track and Field Club ruled out the possibility of hosting this year's World Athletics Continental Silver Tour event due to the lasting effects of Hurricane Melissa, reports surfaced that the club would consider shifting the meet to a neighboring Caribbean nation. Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana and Barbados emerged as contenders. However, today, Athletics Association of Barbados President Noah Lynch ruled that country out of the race.
But by the time I got back to them, they told me that the Trinidad authorities, up to that level as well, the Minister of Sports and probably even the Prime Minister, there had been a discussion. Now, I'm not sure about this. This is just third-party information. This is reported speech.
After confirming last week that he had heard of the possibility of the meet being moved to TNT, but that his organization had not been formally approached, today, National Association of Athletics Administrations of TNT President Ephraim Surratt told us he had heard nothing since. However, a Guardian Media source indicated that a proposal was sent to the Sport Company of Trinidad and Tobago as well as the Minister of Sport from an interceding third party. Repeated calls and messages to Philip Watts yielded no response on the matter, while Sport Company Chairman Kester Lendor said he could not comment on it. Meanwhile, Lynch said he, and by extension the country of Barbados, were disappointed to be out of the running.
Events like this expose the sport, in my opinion, to the populace in a way in which it wouldn't have been exposed before. But what it also does is, in terms of your athletic base, a child who would normally would be interested in maybe another sport, but sees that there are opportunities available, tells a child that who has a casual relationship with the sport that this is an opportunity to look at this sport seriously now.
Lynch added that social and economic benefits would be innumerable. Jassy Marique, CNC3 Sport. Thanks, Jassy. Now, East won the Battle of Rio Claros as they beat their neighbours Rio Claro West by 26 runs when the secondary school's cricket Intercol began today. Ian Wason brings us the action from the Brian Lara Academy.
Rio Claro East lost the toss and were put in to bat first against neighbours Rio Claro West. They got to 32 before losing their first wicket, that of Kishad Abdul for 10. 4 runs later, his opening partner Curtis Nanan was next out for 1. Then a 40-run partnership between Keziah Lewis, who made 26, and Judicial Montrose, who made 18, helped them to 76 for 3 and set the foundation for a score past 100. Jalid Pierce scored a swashbuckling 27 from 13 balls in the back end of the innings. That included 22 in the last over that propelled the Rio East to 128 for 5 from their 20 overs. Rio West got a steady but slow start in their response. Samir Ramdath and Chris Ramtahal put on 50 in the 9th over, but 3 quick wickets set the West back with Ramdath, Joshua Rajnath and Ramtahal out with a score reading 56 for 3 in 12 overs. Darius Mohammed tried his hand with 23, but Zion Mohammed and Niall McKnight turned the screws with 2 wickets each, as West was restricted to 102 for 8 in 20 overs to hand Rio East the win by 26 runs. They will play Naparima College on Monday. In other matches, Presal Secondary scored a 55-run win over St. Stephen's College to set up a date with Presentation College San Fernando, and Eldorado College's 9-wicket win over Trinity College East after getting 215 for 9 in 19 overs. Ian Wason, CNC3 Sport.
Thanks, Ian. Now, golfer Chris Richards Jr. is in the form of his life. On Sunday, the 21-year-old successfully defended his TNT Golf Open Championship crown on the back of a strong start to the U.S. collegiate season. He had a chat with Caston Cupid on Tuesday.
Successfully defending a title is never easy, but Chris Richards Jr. proved he has both the skill and resilience required. The 21-year-old delivered a thrilling come-from-behind performance last weekend, overcoming a strong field to retain his TNT Golf Open title.
The emotions and feelings this week was pretty up and down due to the last 2 wins and then starting the tournament, how we started, but fighting it off, managing it was kind of teaching yourself that we growing the discipline we need to.
His latest triumph comes on the heels of back-to-back victories at the Curry Club Invitational and at the Cambridge Club, further cementing his growing reputation. He credits much of his development to the time spent refining his game and mental approach at the Millennium Lakes Golf Course through countless hours of practice.
Growing up in Millennium, it taught me that it always have a funny lie, you don't really get much clear lies, and then the wind is a big factor in golf all the time, and it was very windy this week in Mocha also, so being able to grow up in conditions like that and then meet the same conditions in Mocha was like a little coming back. It's almost like riding a bike.
His transition to collegiate golf has been smooth, with conditions and competitions not too far removed from what he's experienced at home.
The 2 courses we played were very similar to home, so it felt almost as if in the same environment as home, same free-minded golf like you've been home, and it kind of helped a lot. And then my short game over the past few weeks, I should say, I've been improving a lot.
As his game continues to evolve, the Weber International University Sport Business Management major has his sights set on professional ranks and the PGA Tour. But for now, it's taking it 1 step at a time.
I really just want to graduate first and foremost before I really think too much deep into golf, because with education you have a way first thing. So I would love to become a professional in the long run, definitely. So that is just the future right now.
As he prepared to return to Babson Park, Florida, Richards Jr. is also leaving a message for the next generation.
Always believe in yourself and never give up, no matter how hard it gets. There's always a way.
Caston Cupid, CNC3 Sport.
Thanks, Caston, and our congratulations again to Chris. Now, for our Sport High tonight, return to some TTPFL action. Enjoy.
Playing for Prison Service FC, Brendan Figueroa scored a brilliant goal, but kudos must be given to the assist. Nathaniel Garcia only on the pitch for 10 minutes, and he placed this ball perfectly in his path. The preparation touch was perfect, and the finish was sublime. Yes. So Brendan Figueroa for that brilliant goal, and Nathaniel Garcia for that beautiful assist. You both earned tonight's CNC 3 Sport High.
Some great celebrations there.
Yeah, fantastic goal as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much, Jovan. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Get a free pair of polarized sunglasses with the purchase of new Gen S Transitions lenses with anti-reflective coating and frames. Selected designer frames now just $4.99 with additional promotions. Hurry, limited time only at Seaview Optical.
Dress like you mean business. At The Working Woman, we bring you stylish, professional looks made for the modern woman. From casual to formal workwear, we've got your professional wardrobe covered. Visit Tire Clinic Marketing, New Truck and OTR Tire Service Center at number 30 and 32 Montrose Main Road, Chaguanas. Call today at 665-8973 or 672-3419. Alignment services available. Tire Clinic Marketing, Truck and OTR Service Center. A tire for every need.
The U.S. Department of State is tightening its immigration policies, expanding a controversial program targeting nations with high overstay rates.
Effective April 2nd, the U.S. Visa Bond program will expand to 50 countries, including Grenada. Citizens of those nations seeking B1 or B2 visas for business or tourism will now be required to post a $15,000 US bond before entry. The State Department says the money will be returned provided the traveler complies with visa terms and returns home on time. Grenada joins other Caribbean nations already on the list, including Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, and Cuba. U.S. officials defend the move, noting that 97% of bonded travelers have returned home as scheduled. The expansion is expected to save U.S. taxpayers up to $800 million annually in deportation costs.
Let's take another quick break.
Attention all listeners, are you ready for the ultimate news experience? Introducing the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, the nation's first and most subscribed newspaper. We deliver where others can't. With the widest delivery network in TNT, you can have the Guardian delivered right to your doorstep or office every single day. Take advantage of our special annual subscription offer so you can stay on top of the leading stories even when you're on the go. Sign up today. Time is running out. Inquire about our 3-month and 6-month packages as well.
Well, if you didn't know, this is World Folktales and Fables Week, and in Trinidad and Tobago, our stories don't just live in books.
That's right, from shape-shifting creatures to spirits that walk among us. These legends continue to define the Caribbean's rich cultural identity.
Angelo Jedediah tells us more.
Deep within the forest is home to some of the Caribbean's most enticing and fascinating folklore legends. From the shape-shifting abilities of the Lagahoo, to the eerie whispers of the Dueng, and to the deceptive beauty of the Laja Bless. It makes you wonder, how many persons have had the pleasure of coming face to face with these iconic characters?
I don't want to see them thing?
No, because I don't like really bush. I don't like the forest.
But for some, their encounters remain quite memorable.
You know, people talk about skinwalkers, right? So one morning after 3 a.m., I heard like a cat meowing outside my window. Now, there are a lot of feral cats and stuff. But I got up because this one particularly sounded like it was something trying to sound like a cat.
I witnessed a cow on the road walking with a human head already. Sound crazy, but it's real, eh? Yeah.
So, and what did he do in that moment?
Boy, just drive faster.
So when I look, I see like the bush burning. So somebody bush burning, the bush moving. Quite people talk about it now. So when I look now, I see the fire moving. So I'm calling my madam and tell you, look at Sukunia.
The next night, I heard it again, but it was across the street by the neighbor's house.
And what area is this, so I know not to go in that area?
This is El Socorro.
All right, so El Socorro.
Yeah.
Be aware.
And while some may laugh, whether you believe them or not, TNT's folklore remains a powerful part of our cultural identity. One story and one encounter at a time.
So you're ready to take them on any day?
I'm not looking forward to it, but with God on your side, you could face anything.
Okay, good. Thank you so much.
Angelo Chetadaya, CNC3 News.
Yeah, I've always been fascinated and excited by folklore characters. I feel like if I see them, I'll be like, oh my God, I need to do a story. I'll pull up my phone, probably.
I saw Papa Boa once in Blanchard's.
I saw Arsenal Blower lead in the Promotional. Very scary.
Remember I showed us Sukuya earlier this week, right?
Oh, yeah, you did.
Anything you ever saw?
I've never seen one, but as a child, I ventured to read the story of the Jumbie bird, and it kept me up for weeks, guys. Yeah, that's a scary one, so you should go read it. All right, well, that's how we end the 7 p.m. news here on CNC3. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Maria Ramboli.
I'm Akash Samar.
I'm Jovan Ravello.
And I'm Jean-Marc Rambasad. Have a good night.